As I can remember, I've loved stories. For me, the most magical words are, once upon a time. As a child, I didn't just read stories, I lived them. Cinderella, Dorothy Gale, Nancy Drew, and Trixie Belden weren't just fictional characters, they were my friends. I loved these characters because they were so beautiful and so good. I really wanted to be like those characters that were heroines and got everything they wanted in the end. I always seemed to be getting into trouble for something, and I certainly never thought of myself as being anything other than an ugly duckling. I remember being devastated when I was cast in my first play, an elementary school production of Hansel and Gretel. I was homesick the day roles were assigned, and the teacher gave me the role of the Wicked Witch. To me, that was confirmation that I wasn't ever going to be good. I remember coming home and crying most of the afternoon about having to play a villain. When my father came home, he talked to me about it. He told me that it was much harder to play a villain and be believable than it was to play a good guy. My father helped me to imagine a backstory for the witch. I don't remember what I decided for her, but I do remember that I had decided that she hadn't always been wicked. Out of that experience, I developed compassion for the villains of stories and movies. They became as real to me as the heroes and heroines. Prior to my first acting role as the Wicked Witch, I hadn't seen the villains as being people at all. Afterwards, I realized that they were. Like many children, I was scared of the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. I mean, she was the epitome of evil, and I was always glad when she was destroyed. I mean, she deserved everything she got for being so nasty to Dorothy, her friends, and her little dog, too. Didn't she? After playing one of her sisters, I wasn't so sure. I found myself wondering what had happened to her to make her wicked. And at this time, I would like to thank Mr. Gregory Maguire for answering that question for me in Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. While writing this, I found myself reading lots of analyses of Mr. Maguire's book. One, although favorable, called it a revisionist version of L. Frank Baum's story. There's something about the word revisionist that makes me uncomfortable. Part of me knows that revisions are good, for the most part, but in this case, the term had a negative effect. Perhaps it was because I'd been waiting so long for answers to my questions. I mean, did the critic expect that Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, was evil just for evil's sake? And why was I getting so upset? At the time that I read the article, the revisionist tag seemed to dismiss Elphaba's backstory, making her into just another villain, as though Dorothy's story was the only one that mattered. Of course, this isn't true. The popularity of the television series Once Upon a Time, which gives us the backstories of storybook and other literary characters, the Star Wars saga, which explained how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader, and even Wicked all show that we can accept that there's more to fictional characters than our impressions, our first impressions. We want to know how those characters became who they are. The same should be true with the people we encounter in our lives. By knowing their stories, we get to know them and ourselves as well.